Hello and welcome. My name is David Morelli, and this video is on Prioritization Supercharge. Essentially, how to get the most out of every bit of time that you have to make sure that you're working on the most important items. So think about it for yourself. How often have you been busy, but you truly didn't get results? You were busy, your time was full, you were running around maybe like a chicken with your head cut off, but you didn't end up working on the things that were the most important items. And then only by looking back on it did you realize that while you were busy, you didn't end up getting the results that you wanted. Well, Prioritization Supercharge is here to help you get the most out of every action and activity by working on the most important items possible. Let's go ahead and dive in. The first area that we're going to be focused on is helping you have the highest impact with the activities that you do. Now, what does this mean? It means that while you can fill up a bunch of time and look busy, it doesn't mean that that's the most impactful thing that you can do. What you're looking for are the things that end up having the highest impact or return on the investment of your energy and your time. So what are those items for you? Well, for most people, they end up having a list of activities that they have, let's say in a day or a week, and it ends up being about 50 things long. Well, 3 of those items are likely the most impactful items. There's lots of research done that has the magic of 3, the 3 priorities that you have that end up bringing 90% of the results in your day. So for you, what you're going to do is start to think about what are the things that you do. Either they're activity level or they're in your role, and actually there's a spot for both on the worksheet. What are the activities that you do that bring about the biggest impact? For many people, those things are usually the last things that get done. Usually we say, oh, I don't have time for those because I'm so busy. Well, on this worksheet, you're also going to start comparing the high impact activities to the low impact activities. Let's first start off with your high impact activities. What you're going to be focused on is what's the thing that you do that when you do it, a little bit of time or attention brings about a big result. That big result is what you're going for. And when you spend your time focused on either a little bit of time or a lot of time into those big result kind of items, they end up leading you to greater and greater and greater results, impact, and all the things that you're wanting. So go ahead and start to think about now, and you might even pause the video for a moment. Think about the things that you need to do, or that when you do them, they have the highest impact, the highest results, the highest potency for you to get what it is that you need to get done results-wise. Go ahead and pause now and start to write out the things that you think are your most impactful items. Now, in addition to the tasks that you have on that high impact activities list, you also have high impact focuses for maybe it's your career or your role or your position. So what you want to do is list the top impact things or projects or focuses that you have in your job that may include the activities that are listed, but also might include other things. Like when I think strategically, that ends up bringing about the best result possible. Or when I'm focused on this, let's say, key result of the organization, that's when I end up getting the most impact out of the role that I have. So go ahead and start to do the same thing about high impact activities and do it for your role, and seeing those things start to emerge, because as you work on those, you'll end up getting the results for your role and for the organization that you work with. Now, you might have 3, you might have 4, you might have 5. You're going to now rate from 1 to 3. What are the most important things that you do? You're going to prioritize them. So go ahead and look over your list and look for the priority order of, oh, when I do this one, this is the biggest, this is the highest impact. This is the second highest impact. This is the third highest impact. It's not that the other items on your list wouldn't have impact, but you're going for the top 3 items on your list. So go ahead and pause now and fill that out and sort and sift for which ones are the highest impact. Now here's the kicker. How much of your day, you're gonna write this down, maybe it's in your day, maybe it's your week, but how much of your day do you actually spend currently on these high impact activities? Go ahead and fill in the blank and really look at it for yourself to see how valid is this in your life. Okay, so now let's go into the other kinds of things that you do, the low impact activities. It's important for you to realize what doesn't actually get you the results that you're looking for, what doesn't have the impact that you're looking for, because usually that's most of your time. Most of your time is spent usually on low impact activities. And not knowing you, but knowing, countless people that I've worked with privately and corporately, it's true that you end up spending a lot of your active time on things that don't necessarily have the biggest impact. So go ahead and start listing out the items that you feel are low impact activities. Maybe it's checking email, or maybe it's running down to the copier and coming back, or those types of things. What is it that are the low impact items that you're aware of? Go ahead and list those out for yourself. Now, go ahead and take a look at your list and look to see how much time do you spend in those low impact activities. It might be per activity, per item. You might put a little time at the end. How much time do you actually spend there? Or it might be in your day. How much of your day do you find that you're focused on low impact activities? Go ahead and pause now and reflect on that and fill out on the worksheet how much time you spend on those low impact activities. Now you may be thinking, well, what do I do with these low impact activities? What do I do? Because those are the things that I often have to do for my job or whatever. Well, here's the magic of streamlining. You can batch similar tasks, batching tasks together where instead of answering emails all throughout the day scattered that are those low impact activities that end up breaking up your flow or your concentration, you can put them all together. And maybe it's that you have a block in the morning and a block in the afternoon where you answer email. Well, in those blocks, you can do similar tasks all together because neurologically, you end up being able to create a certain momentum as you do a repeated task over and over and over again. And you end up building speed through that task. So those low impact activities, it's not that you can't do them, but rather it's that you do them either in a batch or, if possible, to delegate them to somebody else and hopefully encourage them to put them into batched tasks to be able to go through and get the most productivity possible. So go ahead through that list and see what can you group together and where might that fit in your day so that you get the most impact out of the time that you have. Now, in order to get the most done in your day, you also need to know another key component, which is when is my prime time? When is the time for you that you end up getting the most done? It might be in the morning, it might be in the afternoon, it might be in the evening or late at night. You want to know when your prime time is so that you're, in a way, neurologically at your best, so that you bring the best presence, the best power, the best results getting orientation to the time that you have. So if you know that in the morning time you're a little sluggish, well, either adjust how you run your morning or put in those low impact activities to get them out of the way, and then have a cutoff time or a cutoff date, so to speak, for when you're going to go into those high impact activities, or you can reverse it, depending on your prime time. So on your worksheet, go ahead and write down when are the hours of your prime time, your greatest focus when you end up getting the most done possible. So what do you do to get the biggest impact in your role over a period of time? Let's say out of a 3-month period, a quarter in business terms. Well, Google ended up implementing something called objectives and key results. Objectives and key results, or OKRs, are the platform that they use to say what are the most important things that we're working on, both in our role as well as our organization. What you're going to do is focus on the objectives that are the most important things for you to do. And in a way, you're going to make them into milestones. You're going to make them into results-oriented things that you can do. And there's an example down below where you can sort of fill in the blank, if you will, of what those high-impact activities are. And those will translate, and the high-impact parts of your role, they'll translate into projects and have associated with them specifics of what you want to accomplish. Now, the objective is sort of a high-level thing. It might be reaching a certain amount of revenue, or it might be completing a certain project by a certain date. This is for a period of time. Let's say it's a 3-month period or a business quarter. That period of time is then going to be broken down into sub-objectives or key results. If I do this thing, I'll end up getting to the result that I'm going for. If I end up doing, let's say, key result number 1, key result number 2, key result number 3, if I do these 3 things, I'll end up accomplishing whatever it is that that high impact activity is, or that big impact item is of what your objective is as a business. So it could look like the objective is reaching a certain amount of revenue for this quarter. And underneath that, it might be, I need to make this many calls or set up this many sales presentations. If I do that, I know that I'll end up reaching this number. If I convert a certain amount of those people into paying clients or customers, I know that I'll end up at that number. And if I do this project where I put together, let's say, whatever it is that you're going to say, or whatever it is the platform is to bring them in, oh, I know if I do that, and I do this, and I do this, it'll add up to that top item. So in a way, you're going to break down the big impact activity or the big impact of your role as a goal. You're going to break it into subcategories, you might say, or key results that will help you get that goal. Then those key results go into how it is that you structure your time. So there might be a certain amount of time that you would have, that would take you 8 hours to do a certain part of the project. That would then go into how it is you would prioritize your time into those sections that are your prime time, so that you work on the most important things to get to the results that you're looking for. Now, with key results and objectives, you want to have about 3, maybe 4 objectives, and underneath each one, you want to have 3, maybe 4 key results per objective. So in a way, you have the exact focus that you need for a certain period of time, and those revolve around the highest impact activities and the highest impact parts of your role or projects that you would be working on. So take this information and start to fill in the worksheet so that you know exactly what your objectives are, exactly what your key results are, based on the highest impact things that you can be doing. This may seem like a lot of information, but this is exactly what Olympians and professional athletes do. They take where it is that they want to be, and they start to plan backwards. They start to say, okay, if I want to be here by a certain time period, what do I need to do in order to get there? Well, it might be if they want to win a gold in the Olympics, then what they need to do are win certain key races, let's say, in order to qualify for the Olympics. And then how do they win those races? Well, in order to do that, they have a training plan that ends up building them up to getting to win those races, which qualifies them for the Olympics. So they build backwards. In many ways, this is what you're doing. You're starting with where it is that you want to go, objective-wise. You start breaking that down into key results. Those key results and objectives are based on what you're good at, right? So if you were trying to get to the Olympics in running, but you're a ski racer, well, that might not be the right way to go about it. So you build on your strengths, you put that strength set into a plan, you work that plan, and you train, or you end up doing your workouts, if you will, or your work at the prime time when you can get the biggest results. This whole system and being able to work on the right things, to be able to put that into a system of what you want to accomplish, and to work on the things at your prime time, that prioritization mindset and streamlining those low impact activities, that will help you get more productivity and will supercharge your ability to prioritize your time and to prioritize what are the biggest things that you need to do to succeed in your life and in your work. I hope this information is not only helpful, but that you implement it and that you work on and work through the worksheet to help you get started in being able to implement this into your life. Now, in your next coaching session, bring with you your completed worksheet so that we can go through your high impact activities, your low impact activities, your prime time, and how it is that you're structuring your priorities in your role and goals associated with those so that you can meld and blend all of these things to supercharge your ability to prioritize and to be productive. I'll see you soon.